What's going on, world? I ain't been on here in a minute. Really not 100% sure why. I had to come out here in nature and recharge. Man, I want to talk today. I'm not really sure what I want to talk about though. Where I want to start really. Like, I know where I can start. Being a woman, that's a good one. You're supposed to be able to be vulnerable. But what happens when you feel like there is no place to be vulnerable? I kind of consider myself an old soul, which makes it really hard these days to interact with other people because, you know, I just feel out of sorts, out of place. Um, I'm a mother, and a lot of times we feel as though we should be able to get things off our chest, cry, say how we truly feel about something, and just have somewhere or somebody we can talk to, someplace to put our vulnerability. But when you have nowhere to be vulnerable, it creates a shell over your heart. And the shell becomes hardened. And the harder it becomes, I don't want to say that it turns you into a man, you know, but along with, like being a single parent, being a head of household or whatever, it puts you in this category where you have to shake off the part of you that makes you the woman, the softness. You gotta put that in a box and bury it so you can get out here and get it out the mud for the kids, you know what I'm saying? And then having an old soul comes with old standards, wanting to or longing to um, live your life's purpose, walk in your purpose as a woman, be soft, be sweet, be kind, be wholesome. But in today's society, you get stripped of all of those things. Um, being being put in a position where you have to lead. it becomes a struggle on your mind and your heart, because your purpose is to live and walk in one direction, but everything that's going on in the world today makes you walk in another direction with a little more force. You have to growl to get your point across. You have to be that bitter black woman or bitter woman, period, because you're being overlooked, overshadowed, not listened to. It saddens me to see um, how the dynamic between women and men, how we're pit against each other, you know, from the day that we're pushed out of the womb. Boys are taught to pollinate as many flowers as possible, and the girls are taught to find the one that you like, the one who seems to carry the morals and standards that you were taught to look for. And once you find that one, then you open your heart, you open yourself, you open your mind, and you begin to try to align with that person. But that person on the other side of the fence has been taught to spread themselves as thin as possible and be everywhere with everybody doing everything. And over time, the roles are reversing. And the women have to be as strong as possible. And the men want to be treated like men, and they should be treated like men. But this new age thing that we have going on is taught to make us feel as though we are so different, and we're all human. We all have human emotions and problems and issues and feelings. And you know, if a man growls, it's and if he, you know, was upset by something, and he begins to raise his voice, it's okay. But in those same situations that a woman is hurt and needs to feel acknowledged, they're blown off, they're undermined, they're misled, they're lied to. I mean, women do the same, you know, these days, especially these new age women. Can't cook, don't want to make house, don't want to make it look livable or nice. Yet I find myself in the grind, out here trying to get it out the mud, in the paint, whatever you want to call it, you know. And being forced into that position leaves no time for my womanly duties. working this new job. First time working in a year since my car accidents and my back situation. And I came in at the height of their um, at the height of this company, how they function. Okay, so I'm pulling a lot of days, and my off days are random. I mean, they're not random really, but they're so spaced out that it almost seems like I don't have an off day. And then that one day, you got to try and catch up with everything. I got to try and paint. I got to try and do the girls' hair. I got to make sure that my son gets to football practice and wrestling practice and making all the decisions of the household. How whoever gonna get where they going, how they gonna get home. It's just how this light fixture gonna get fixed. And being the head of household, like it's a blessing to even have. Ooh, I'm sorry. But it's a blessing to have a household. It's a blessing to have children. But this walking in my purpose thing, it makes you tired because you can't. To have to fill both shoes. And I'm not saying that, you know, my kids' fathers, because I have two. My oldest, she has her own. But and they aren't terrible, you know, dads, but life circumstances happen that makes that they can't, one of them can't be around. He got some things going on in his life, so I don't fault him. And she's grown now, so he pretty much did his job. Um, but the other one, he's not a bad father either. We don't see eye to eye as far as what type of advice to give when children may be misbehaving, or we are just polar opposites in that sense. And there's been a lot of things that may have blew up in our faces depending on if I went with what he was saying or he went with what I was saying to do. I mean, not just without saying too much. Every aspect of my life is not everybody's business, and I get to pick and choose what I want to tell. However, all of those oppositions, and with us no longer being together, leads me to have to lead. And I won't just say that because when we were together, I did a lot of leading. And that was one of the things that made me say, I can't do this no more. I trying to lead and follow. That's some shit there. Trying not to emasculate a man and give him the respect that's due to every human being. At the same time, trying to leave the household due to, I'm not sure if it was because he wasn't capable or he was just used to a woman having to do those particular things. It just made me say, hey, if I have to do both, I might as well do both on my own. But there's no bad blood, you know, at all. There was a time that I was very bitter about the situation, but I gained some clarity between my tears and praying to God, and I was able to overcome that bitterness. But still, it still leaves me with the question, where does a woman have a safe space to be vulnerable these days? Which is the epitome of being a woman, but is shunned upon. If something hurts, you're emotionally, um, what's the word that they use? Unbalanced, which is so unfair. But hey, I'm a strong ass woman and I'm gonna make it happen, okay? So, I hope and pray. I've been eating, sorry y'all. But I hope and pray that everybody out there is able to navigate these hard times right now because the world is so different right now. I mean, excluding the pandemic and the virus and all of this stuff going on, like excluding that. So, anyway, be blessed, stay strong, and better days are hopefully ahead.